This is how modern law firms are winning right now. And this is the secret. And a lot of them are starting to use the Billable VA blueprint. And one legacy planning attorney went from working 70 hours a week to generating the exact same revenue while working 20 hours less, all by having a virtual assistant handle billable tasks in their firm within 90 days. And so one of the things that a lot of law firms, a lot of attorneys don't know about is that in many practice areas, as much as 60% of what the law firm does, what the attorney does not require a legal expertise or a licensed paralegal to do those things. And this is even if you do billable hours, flat fees, or even if you are a contingency in the way that you bill. Regardless of how you bill your clients, this process is going to give you more freedom, the ability to scale by taking on more clients, and it eliminates a lot of the tedious work that you probably hate doing, right? So this is Mark. He spent 25 hours on actual legal strategy and the other 45 hours on administrative work, document prep, and client coordination, right? And just like a lot of people in estate planning and a lot of different practice areas, that he got into estate planning to help families and not format documents or chase clients. And so, by the way, estate planning is perfect for this VA delegation. It's really document heavy. There's a lot of predictable workflows and templates that you can add in, and it doesn't require a lot of legal expertise for most of the doc prep work. And this goes with many other practice areas, such as some corporate, civil, family, immigration, even some personal injury as well. But what Mark did was he delegated documenting, drafting, prep, pulling info from client intake forms, drafting wills, trust POAs, and a lot of those things, and templating them, which saved 1 or 2 hours per client, whether you're doing billable hours or flat fees. Those hours and these tasks add up, not only for the actual product that's getting done, but for you as the attorney as well. And so he delegated document review and formatting, right? Preparing the docs and filing, 30 to 60 minutes per file. And this VA handled client intake and fact gathering as well, following up on missing info, assets list, beneficiary details, a lot of that, which improved client satisfaction, because later we'll talk about how these processes were taking a few weeks and turned into as little as around 10 days to get everything turned around to their clients, which means a lot more client satisfaction. And so his VA, she updated case management systems like Clio or Practice Panther, whatever CRM that you use, but this specific case would be Clio, organizing financial documents, deeds, medical records, and all of those things. She managed coordination and correspondence, scheduling and signing witnesses, coordinating with the registry of wills, and crafting client letters and those things. And after 6 months, this VA could handle as much as 80 to 100 billable hours per month and as many as 50 or so non-billable hours, which is saving the attorney, which is saving Mark that time. And so the VA costs, for example, around $2,500 per month, something like just under $15 per hour. And that generated 14,875 billable hours of revenue. And so the VA costs about $2,500 per month and generated $14,875 in billable revenue. That's about 85 hours at $175 an hour and creating over $12,000 in net profit. And this is all with having a VA do a lot of those tedious tasks for you. So not only are they doing the billable hours for less than a paralegal could do it, they're also saving you the hours, right? That's almost like double dipping there. And by freeing up 20 hours per week, Mark took on more clients and he focused on the high value part of legal work and reduced his stress greatly, right? And so this is where I talked about earlier, the turnaround time was around 3 weeks and turned around to be just as little as 10 days. Quality improved because of the VA checklist and the templates that they were able to build throughout the week. That's what I'm going to talk to you about next, is exactly how to do this. Now he has 2 VAs, one that does the billable tasks, many of the billable tasks, and one that handles the majority brunt of the operational tasks in the firm. So think about it, somebody doing operations for around $2,000 per month, $12, $13 an hour, and somebody that handles a lot of the billable tasks, for $4,500 a month, you're able to generate tens of thousands of dollars in revenue doing things that you were already doing, but also have everything organized on the operational side as well. So with that being said, this is the exact process you can follow to create this kind of scale for your law firm. So the first weeks 1 and week 2, it's a foundation and actually hiring somebody. And so document workflows and track your time to identify billable versus non-billable tasks. This is really important to know yourself, how much you are focusing on the billable tasks versus non-billable tasks, right? And then being able to identify them so that you can get them off your plate to a virtual professional. But not only a virtual professional, hire a specialized virtual professional, whether it's operational or paralegal tasks, billable hours, right? And so I work with Savvital, and they have the best legal professionals in the industry, and you're able to let them know when they're finding your talent, whether you want somebody who's more operational or somebody that's going to take on a lot more paralegal type of task, more billable hours, right? So you don't want just any VA. So you're not going to some random VA company and asking them if they can do legal stuff, because you're not going to get that specialized touch to it. Where with Savvital, they have training that is specialized for both operational legal assistant type and paralegal type. So that's a big piece of it right there. So in weeks 3 and 4, what you can do is you create standard operating procedures and use screen recordings and checklists. Kind of like what I'm doing right now, right? This is actually a screen recording using a program called Loom. I have a paid version, but you can use the free version as well. And this is a great way to be able to document your tasks, the things that you're doing, how you fill out templates, etc. And even your VA can help you with this SOP and documenting process. So once they have a process, they can go ahead and create this video. Even your VA can help you create SOPs and documents for this process. So once you have a process for a particular thing, whether it's wills or POAs and all these, getting all these templates, they can go ahead and build them and show somebody exactly how to go ahead and fill them out. Or if there's an admin process, if you're doing operations, your VP can actually create these SOPs and documents for somebody that comes along in the future that's going to go ahead and do operations. But there's many things in SOPs, templates that you can create in this week 3 to 4 process that's going to go ahead and leverage everything for the rest of the week. So you'll be able to go ahead and see that here. Now, in week 5 and week 6, you have client and file management. So this is adding intake calls and fact gathering and all these things to your VA's workload. Right? And you can delegate file organization and case management updates as well. And then in week 7 and week 8, this is where you start to introduce those medium risk billable tasks. And so document draft prep. So getting the documents templated from week 3 and week 4, now you can actually have them do these and fill these out from the information that they gather from client intake and all these other things, and have them fill these templates out for you to be able to look at, right? To be able to go over each part and spend, instead of 3 or 4 hours maybe doing all this whole process, it maybe takes you 15 to 30 minutes to go ahead and look over everything, make sure things are accurate. And then you can delegate client correspondence and coordination with outside parties as well to your VA. So this is really starting in that week 7, week 8 area. You're really starting to scale these billable hours. You're going to start to have your VA pay for themselves 4, 5, 6 times over, right? And then in weeks 9, week 10, this is where we really scale the billable hours. And the VA should now be able to handle anywhere between 40 to 80 hours of billable hours per month with the templates that we have. And so whether you're doing billable hours or flat fees or based on contingency, you're going to have your VA be doing all of these things that you were doing before. That's going to go ahead and save your time for other things and to be able to scale your company, right? And this is kind of the area where you begin spot checking instead of reviewing all of the work, right? This is where for a few weeks now they've done some billable tasks and they've seen some of these templates and done these things over. That process is like, okay, just, crossing T's and dotting I's. Did this get filled? Did this get filled? And it'll save you even more hours as you get into it. And then finally, weeks 11 and weeks 12, you're at that 90-day mark. You can achieve as much as probably 100 billable hours per month for your VA. And the attorney can focus primarily on the strategy and the complex legal work. And this part of it, all within 90 days, your VA can start to pay for themselves in as little as 15 or 20 billable hours alone. So let's say in the first week, if you're averaging 15 to 20 billable hours per week, and maybe that's 80, you're getting to 70, 80 billable hours per week that you can handle and give your VA. After that first week of 15 to 20 hours, they're paying for themselves in that billable work right there. Then the rest of the month is profit. So net profit. That's where the magic really happens, is once we get to this point, you're able to go ahead and scale, whether you want an operations person to also scale your firm, or you can even add another billable person to your team, especially if you're doing flat fee and you want to go ahead and get the volume of clients. You're able to go ahead and multiply your efforts to be able to help not only you, but your firm in general. And so the next steps that you'd want to do is to book a gap assessment with us, with our team here at Savvital, in the description below. And that gap assessment is going to talk about you particularly, your practice area, your particular law firm, and how this model could work for you. So go ahead, go to the description. We'd love to go ahead and chat with you soon.